Ulumendo no mukashibali no wafya. Ulumendo no mukashibali no wafya. Mukashiwaba kuchule para ile kumanga. Mukashiwaba kuchule para ile kumanga. Ati inende kwa efe umuti wafyashi. Ati inende kwa efe umuti wafyashi. Inanga yatile. Ati ukembe sasa no mubanga. Ishishimba.
Eri no lya Musungu.
Ati mutima wa Kanyerere.
Ati ukembe sasa ishishimba.
Umutima wa Kanyerere wa Jerome.
Bajero bako mupira bwa tabadeji pharmacy yedu kupa yo mutima wa Kanyerere.
Mutima wa Kanyerere.
Ishishimba mutima wa Kanyerere.
Mbwala kasanga shani.
Eka ku ministry of health kusanga umutima wa Kanyerere pakuti bombe. Eri no lya Musungu.
Umulume atire kachichuko chalapwa. Umukashi atire kayire kuchipatala.
Andrew, can you put your picture there? Your video, please.
Ati mayori wino no vyashi. Aha. Uwafya resana bakorwa. Ati mayori wino no vyashi. Wali kwata no babalume bobe. Uwafya resana bakorwa.
Let's already firing up blanks.
Ati bada pyari kama Dr. Barbara.
Firing up blanks.
Shaka wakolo inishashwa kubwalo kwetukuti. Mlegeri tare achula. Oh mlege mkashare. Mlege mkashare achula. Mlege mkashare achula. Hello. Good evening, Chuempala. My name is Elias Munshya. Good evening, Choma. Good evening, Nakonde and Livingston. Good evening, Mongu. Good evening, Mapatizia. Good evening, Kalomo. Elias Munshya here on TVBAKWETU, 22 hours Chuempala time. I am here with my co-hosts and fellow TVBAKWETU crew, Mr. Jerome Kanika, Mr. Patrick Chilufya, and Dr. Barbara Chanda. We are here together on Tuesday night. We have a lot of good things to talk about. And so please wake up somebody. Let them know that we are live this late. And we know that some are sleeping, but a lot of you are still awake. And so wake up, let's have a late night chat here on TVBAKWETU. We have got a lot to talk about, and I have missed you a lot because I've not been in hosting shows for a very long time, maybe a week or two. I've been around, so I'm very excited that I could join you today. I have very nice very nice video today. I have no complaints whatsoever. No complaints whatsoever. And so I am going to now introduce my fellow hosts tonight, and we are going to have a great time here. If you are able to subscribe to TVBAKWETU, please do so. If you are able to send us stars, please do so. If you are able to share the link and let everybody know that we are live, please do so. Otherwise, we've got to get started with stuff. Dr. Barbara, today I have very good video, and I'm still in Zambia.
I can see your complexion is back. Your video mashima. Twambo kuingira mwati kashi ndimbikukana takwali bako tumoto munwa to secret. You never know.
So Apa, it's okay, eh?
Apa we're back to civilization.
Yeah. So all I needed was to be in a very well lit place, have my my computer on, not my laptop, because my laptop has lousy camera, but I'm using my Canadian camera right on top of a desktop. So that has made a huge difference. So thank you very much for acknowledging that, because naisa tampoku sakamana. We know. Now like this, I think I'm okay. Pharmacist, our resident pharmacist, Jerome Kanika, how are you doing?
Yeah, Munshya, I can say I'm a very happy man, if I can say so. A very glad person to say that whatever we bring on TVBAKWETU, actually people listen. And today we are talking of the entire management of ZAMSA being put on forced leave. Though as we talk, maybe we'll discuss. Definitely, I need to address issues of the board and the other issues pertaining to ZAMSA. So we need to speak out. Yeah, don't get tired of me. I'm just like this anyway. Maybe I'm big mouth.
Yeah, and Jerome, I want you to know that we are very proud of what you've done for your country. You have stood up against corruption in the pharmaceutical industry and in Ministry of Health, and so we commend you for that. Zambia is very grateful and is better because of your advocacy. Now, I do see that you've already done several media runs today, because immediately there were changes at ZAMSA. Media came talking to you, and so we are very happy that you could come back to your own channel, TVBAKWETU, in order to enlighten us on what has happened.
Yeah, definitely, Council Munshya. But one thing that we need to know very well is if people, they think like we have disclosed any corruption or in the pharmaceutical sector, we have not yet started, but we will get started very soon. What you have seen is nothing. There is more to what happens in the pharmaceutical sector. If you talk like Vamos, there is more. There is more. But there is more. We have not yet disclosed anything, but I can assure you, a lot of things will start disclosing very soon, one by one.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Patrick Chilufya, welcome to the show tonight.
Thank you, Dr. Munshya. Good to see you. Very good camera. and hope we're going to have a good program tonight. Thank you.
Oh, I was doing like this, and then I remembered to say, if we we straighten our hands because we are people of peace. Not if no.
Inshirani kuntanshi. Kuntanshi fi.
Neliwe kuminwe.
Iyo ni buyantanshi kuntanshi.
Now, we have several matters to talk about, and I honestly do have a lot of grievances myself. One of them is we keep going back to this issue of tribalism. Now, many people think, why should we be talking about it? But the problem is, it keeps coming back and back and back and back all the time. What happened in the previous regime? It was terrible. Just 6 months ago, the kind of tribalism that was there, it's terrible. So vanenga tualela ndapati tribalism. It is because it was wrong, extremely wrong. And so we have no apology to make. If any of our citizens was fired from the civil service on the basis of their tribe, come back to serve your country. If you were denied a promotion on the basis of your tribe, come back and serve your country. We are not going to be compromising on this, okay? So we have no issues if we, as far as TVBAKWETU is concerned, to tell everybody, to tell our people, to say, we affirm each and every Zambian. And what happened in the past, if you go to kutamfia bantu mlandu wa mtundwa wokubatamfia nchito shapwa, that was very terrible, and so we have no apologies to make. I think we continue to affirm that we are one country. We value every citizen of our country, and we are going to continue doing that. When an aspirant of the PF presidency, the tribalism in PF is still going on in UPND, therefore PF was better. It makes me angry. Okay, it really does. It's personal. Personal. That's why the middle ground in as far as tribalism is concerned. You are a tribalist. I call upon you. I call what? I call it out. If you are under Sungu,
Call it out.
I call it out. So that's it on tribalism. I don't know if any one of you has anything to say about tribalism, so that we move to the next topic.
So, Munshya, you know, the tribalism thing in Zambia is because we try to trivialize it. We have to make it a crime for people to be tribalist. If you are wuchi mbuya na umuntu ngate mbuya obewa ulefokula mbuya from no reason, you don't even understand the mbuyaship between the tribes, it has to stop, because people, it's just like, you know, some time ago, even in Europe, people used to use tribalistic remarks, I mean, racist remarks in form of banter. Somebody will say something nasty to you and say they're joking. No. If the person next to you is not laughing, it's not a joke. If the person has lost a job, and then the worst part of this, what we don't understand, Munshya, the mental health and impact this has caused on the people that lost their jobs, up to now, abantu balomfomwenso. You know, nangundande fe, you know, nangunawela Ministry of Health. But if you change abantu dimbi no yokwaba, so yeah, you know, let me just leave it. That's the mental impact it has on people. So we should not tolerate it at all, in any form or shape. I submit, Munshya.
Yeah, I am quite. That's what we continue to affirm, and so to correct the wrong that was done in the past, the government has come up with a very, very nice program, and we completely 100% stand by this program. If you were fired, let me be specific. wali kutamfya iwe as a civil servant umulandu wa mutundu mayo tata wekeramo twala kupeera ekito nakaidi ife fwe na Zambia nifwe tule kupeera ekito pakuba tukwekeremo mukubomba bwela nga kyakutira balungu naba nabo bali kutamfya ekito omulandu wako batu mutundu obe. You're going to get your job back. In fact, you need to get it back. That is what it means to be one Zambia, one nation. Tekwangalo kuiyo, you are using it as a joke. At Zikta, they fired 5 directors. Oh, Bemba. Elo 5 directors. It's because they are Bemba. Nonsense. They are fired because Zikta, there is total confusion at Zikta 1. Secondly, Zikta, to try and rig the Zambian election. On the actual day of the election, Zikta closed our cell phones, internet, closed it, shut it down. Zikta, with these very directors. They've been fired in national interest. They've been fired in national interest. When we stand behind a revolution, it is not a joke. We're not just trying to play. We are not just trying to play around. No, we mean what we are doing. We meant it. We meant every action that we were taking. We are not here for jokes. We are not here for play. So in fact, that is what we needed. We need change. It is the people of Zambia that need change. Tribalism. That is it.
Can I say something, Bamusha? Can I say something? Yeah, Bamusha, you 100% spot on. Tribalism, Bamusha, is evil. God hates it. God created us all equals in his own image. So nobody is above another person. And then, Bamusha, when you look at tribalism, look at what happened in Rwanda. A minority tribe trying to oppress the other tribe, and the rest is history. And then, Bamusha, the UPND government, our government, the government that we fought for, is doing a great job, as you mentioned, as you alluded to, trying to correct the wrongs of the past. And all those who were fired, I know a lot of people were fired in the name of tribalism, or they were seen to be sympathizers of UPND, and some of them have gotten their jobs back. But Bamusha, I think the government needs to move a step forward, just like what Barbara said. When you look, tribalism, racism, discrimination, they are the same. They just manifest in different forms. But when you look at the UK, racism and discrimination was a serious problem. So they had to come up with a law, Equality Act 2010. It's one of the most powerful laws to protect people from being unlawfully discriminated. So I think Zambia needs to move a step further. We've discussed this with our resident MP, Honorable Mareta, that we need to enact a law on tribalism and make tribalism unlawful, so that people can be prosecuted referring to that act. I rest my peace. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. I think, and the reason why we do this is because we believe in our country. Zambia can and will do better. We believe in it, but we are not going to stand idle and ignore tribalism. No, every Zambian is important. Every Zambian contributes equally to the Zambian project. Every tribe is important. And nobody in Zambia should be made to feel as if Baba Chitako invite kuba nabo. No. One Zambia, one nation, emo chalola. So bonse baletwanga. One Zambia, one nation. Abalozi baletwanga, abatonga baletwanga. Sagatero no kwa chiripo. Zambia eni nefwe. Na ifofwe baushi. Na ifwe na tutemwa. Avena kabendoko, avena mwanga. Ebwina Zambia. That is what it means. Nombo mubuteko bwalipo kwa mpoko kukakanisha abantu. And even after you are punished by the people of Zambia, you are now in a position with tribalism. You know, I don't understand how the Patriotic Front thinks. Even Abantu Abena Zambia, they take you out of power because of your tribalism. And then when you are outside power, instead of muichefie, mwakonkania popular setting abantu. On the basis of tribe. This is not right. And as long as we believe in this Zambian project, we will continue talking. Anyway, enough with tribalism. The next thing is Parliament has opened today, and I think MPs are extremely excited. I am somewhere on the copper belt right now. I don't know which constituency this is, but I'll figure it out very shortly. I was in Chingola, Honorable Chipoka Mlenga's constituency in Chingola, and I know in Chwempala, and I know that there are several other MPs around. And so yage mukaku Parliament ku Lusaka. Honorable Mabeta will be on tomorrow, so he'll be able to give us an idea of where things are at and where he sees the parliamentary priorities going. I am thinking that the attempts at constitution review, I don't know how soon it's likely to be, but maybe it could be during this session, this coming session, that we can receive some statements about what will happen with the constitution review. What do you think, Jerome Kanika?
Yeah, I think today I watched a little bit the opening of Parliament. Then yeah, I tuned in. I was doing one or two things. I was committed somewhere. But from the way things are this time, Parliament is like there will be more entertainment that I've seen. And we are likely, yes, to have a lot of like constitution reform. It will be one of the first thing that is likely to come through in the House of the House. But there will be a lot of comedy currently, what will happen in Parliament.
Why? Between Anthony Mumba and Munia Zulu,
vengi sana, vengi Munshya. What it is, what it has done for them. It's like very vundusha, and it will be a serious circus this time.
Dr. Barbara?
Thank you, Munshya. I think it's going to be really interesting because the first session of Parliament, Yarikom in the phase of denial, where people were coming in like they're the one running the show. The second phase is coming when people are so battered and a bit really angry. So it will be really interesting to see. Maybe some people need a bit of orientation. You know, quite from Welensky to KK at knife. Why is left hand, right hand, talk politely, sit down when it's not your turn. They used to follow those instructions. I think we need to repeat. If not, mukamuna ferwage mukamu Parliament. I submit.
in Parliament. That's very serious. Some people are expressing concerns that the tone and language of MPs, like even on social media, on social media and stuff like that. I don't know. I have no opinion about that. I don't think we should chase MPs from social media. I think social media is a wonderful tool.
It's the etiquette. I think everybody needs to understand what they're right. For example, if you're in this country, as where we are, everything I write on social media has to be in line with what somebody can ask me, what did you say? Because you can so easily lose a job by saying the wrong things, because it can be interpreted as if you're able to insult somebody on social media, you're able to insult somebody in your office, you're able to insult somebody in your constituency, you're able to insult everybody. So you have to have an education, because this social media is very powerful, even in our own country, in Zambia, everywhere, it's very powerful. However, the regulations and how to use it, we are moving a bit behind. All of us, we have to every day learn how am I supposed to speak? Even if somebody complains about what you didn't say, you have to remind yourself that it's because maybe I gave them a chance to feel that way. So we have to correct ourselves and relearn.
Yeah.
I submit.
One of the things that will happen in this new session is that Bowman Lusambo and his friends, how many are they? Are they 14? How many seats were nullified? Was it 14 or 7?
Are they coming back, by the way, or because I thought they're supposed to come back until
the speaker? The speaker's ruling say that they can't come back, and the speaker's ruling is very problematic. That ruling is a huge problem. I have huge concerns with that ruling, and I'm hoping that the Constitutional Court is going to set this matter properly. I think the speaker misdirected herself on both the law and common sense. You cannot deny to seat MPs who were elected by the people, even if there is a petition and they've lost the petition in the first instance. You can't do that. If these people have appealed, some of my friends are saying that no, because it is not a stay of execution. Well, if it is not a stay of execution, then declare these seats vacant. It's as simple as that. If you cannot declare these seats as vacant, you cannot have it both ways. You know? On the other hand, you're saying it was not a stay of execution. And if it's not a stay of execution, then it is what? You can't have it both ways. And so our major concern, I was very greatly concerned with the speaker's decision. I think it was wrong. It was wrong at law. It is not in the interest of our politics, our constitution. It is not even in the interest of the UPND. Even if I don't speak for the UPND, but I don't think it helps the UPND by having a speaker who makes a ruling that as long as an MP loses at the first instance, they cannot sit until the Constitutional Court determines their case. The Constitutional Court can take a year or two. Now, are we saying that the people of that particular constituency are not going to have an MP in Parliament? That is not right. And I do have issues with Mr. Bowman Lusambo, Shimpundu DNA. I have huge issues with him. But as long as he was declared as the winner by the Electoral Commission of Zambia, and his seat has not been definitively nullified by the Constitutional Court, he must sit in Parliament until such a time that the Constitutional Court rules that the gentleman's seat is the gentleman illegally, whatever it is. But we cannot be happy and say that that is the law and let it. Again, it has nothing to do with our own personal preferences. If I had my own way, I was going to tell the people of Kabushi to elect someone else. The people of Kwacha, they should have elected Mr. Mulenga. Is it Mr. Mulenga of Kwacha? Of Kwacha, you know? So the people of Lunte, is it Lunte that has been nullified? We had our own preferences and we endorsed the UPND and its candidates, or even Mukushi North. But that is not to mean that before the Constitutional Court makes a ruling on these appeals, that these MPs cannot be seated. The problem is today it is the UPND, but in a few months, in a few years, we could become victims of this very kind of these sorts of rulings, where a president engineers things in the High Court, and then you take the High Court's decision as the only thing, and then you kick out MPs and you pass your own laws and stuff like that. So I hope that the Constitutional Court is going to rule on this matter very quickly, so that these nullified MPs go back to Parliament until the Constitutional Court determines. If we want the Constitutional Court to move quicker, this is the challenge, dear people of Zambia. We need to fund the Constitutional Court. That's it. If the Constitutional Court does not have enough money, does not have enough funding, does not have enough, it does not even have a building of its own, we are expecting too much if we expect quick rulings from the Constitutional Court. It's underfunded. It has no money. Judges, of course, get a lot of money. These judges, they get a lot of money. But other than that, clerks, buildings, paper, space, everything. It's completely underfunded. Alaboafia. So some of you who tell me at Munshya without to criticize if they chitika shan for your criticism. The speaker's decision over these MPs is extremely concerning. And this is not the first time I'm saying it. I said it on the very day that she made that ruling. It was wrong, completely wrong. But anyway, the Constitutional Court is going to tell us very soon. And I hope that they do it quickly, because we can't afford to have, is it 7 MPs? Are they,
I think about 6, 7.
There are 9. Should be 9.
9.
Nine.
Okay.
9.
Yeah, no. The speaker is very categorical that 9 MPs cannot sit in Parliament. Well, Zambia is a democracy. Our MPs are not elected by the speaker. Our MPs are elected by the people of Zambia. It is us who elect our MPs. And when we elect our MPs, until the Constitutional Court disqualifies them and chases them away from Parliament, the speaker cannot refuse to sit them. The other thing is, the speaker is a subject of the Zambian Constitution. If you are making a decision or a ruling in the House that touches the constitution of our country, then it is not your jurisdiction. It is as simple as that. The speaker can tell an MP, it is her jurisdiction. If you're painted a the speaker can do that. The speaker can do that. Rulings for the good order of the House. But the speaker does not have the constitutional authority MP sit inside the Parliament. MP, all the people have elected. No. No, she doesn't. Until the Constitutional Court finally rules on this question, the speaker should reverse herself and sit these 9. Common sense. Dr. Barbara.
What was the decision based on? Because you lawyers are very difficult, because Ms. Smith is also a lawyer, you are a lawyer. What was the decision that this was based on? On historical, as in case of Mungomba Mwebe. Who else? What's the precedence? What's the historical precedence? So that we can understand it better? Has there been a precedence to this? So what judgment did she use to come to her conclusion? Because she's a lawyer herself, so what did she use to get to where we are?
I think we have to read her decision on one of the broadcasts, really, because she wrote a very lengthy decision. The major issue was our constitution, right? It says that when the seat is nullified, you cease to be an MP. When the seat is nullified, okay? However, it also provides for an appeal. So this is a question of common sense. If a seat is nullified by the High Court decision, and yet the same constitution allows you to appeal, the very fact that you are appealing must stay the High Court's decision until that appeal is heard. Now, here is the problem. Some of our friends are saying that because an appeal does not act as a stay in general, it means then that it did not stay the decision of the High Court. The problem with that interpretation is that you want to have a cake and eat it at the same time. If you are saying that an appeal is not a stay, then you've got to call by elections on the basis of the High Court decisions. You can't have it both ways. You can't say this appeal did not act as a stay. All right? And yet, on the other hand, say that we are not going to nullify these seats. If you are saying that it is not acting as a stay, then nullify those seats. If you cannot nullify those seats, then it means that it acted as a stay. We cannot allow rulings of the Speaker that she makes in Parliament to either add or interpret the Constitution of Zambia. In any case, any person who has the authority to interpret the Constitution of Zambia should do it in a democratic way, in a way that affirms our democracy rather than detracts from our democracy. When you make a ruling that these MPs cannot sit in Parliament, you are fundamentally affecting the fabric of the Constitution of Zambia. That is what you are doing. It's not a small thing. You are defranchising, is it defranchising? The people of Kabushi, the people of Lunte, the people of Kwacha, the people of whatever it is. This has nothing to do with whether we like these gentlemen or not. I could care less about Shimpundu helicopter and Shimpundu DNA. I think they're not suitable to be MPs. They shouldn't have been elected, but the people of Zambia elected them. Until the Constitutional Court rules otherwise, they are MPs, and that house must sit them. It's as simple as that. If on the Tuaiba Benaka Ushukovat, Muika Sala Bowman, Pant Bowman Wamisango, Bowman Daba Bueno, Bowman Nibudoza Wabufi, Bowman Wamwenso, Bowman Nindo Shipa, Dumuinewa Tuebe Tagrefo, we are Mupanda. If we tell the people of Kabushu, don't elect Bom, Erwa Kabush Bayam as their MP until the Constitutional Court reverses that. Touch station. Touch tendo fuego, touch tendo. Tu bebe atio mueve na Kabushi. Ero Jibeshan. If you can't shiba name mueva monagona karimoyo, I just no. We want to stand for the constitutional fabric of this country. We believe that Zambia can and will do better. We affirm the democratic credentials of our democracy, and we hope that we are going to do just fine. But on this question, we are again appealing to the Speaker. It's not too late. Kutuba Chitafi reverse decision ya Mailo, and they sit these guys. Because the Teba Speaker was Salama MPs, it's the people of Zambia directly, universal suffrage. Until the Constitutional Court finally makes a final determination on this. Mshishiwe, what else we can answer on that one?
Yes, Munshya. Yeah, the ruling of the Speaker, I'm not a lawyer, Munshya, you're a lawyer. But that ruling, Munshya, divided the nation into two. And which means that ruling was somehow, there's something wrong somewhere. Because for that ruling to divide the nation, both learned lawyers and everybody, there's something wrong somewhere. But then Munshya, that brings me back to the issue of lacunas in our constitution. Don't you think constitutional reforms could help? Because this could have been like, because if it was straightforward in our constitution, written clearly, there shouldn't have been an issue like that. Don't you think we need reforms to remove those lacunas? And then the other question Munshya I've got is, I heard people debating this ruling. They were people, some of them very prominent people, like I think, if I remember, if I'm not mistaken, is Dr. Vernon Mwanga. Dr. Vernon Mwanga wrote an article, if I'm not mistaken, wrote an article in the press. It was on social media that there've been a ruling like this before in Parliament. It might have been done in MMD government or in UNIP government. So I rest my peace,
So point saying that, but the construction, according to you, nullified the seats, and so they cease to be MPs. It's not about common sense, it's about what the law says. If they have seized, here's my concern. You can't have the cake and eat it at the same time. If you are saying that as a result of the High Court's decision, these people have ceased to be MPs, then call by elections and do away with the appeal to the Constitutional Court. But you can't have it both ways. It's intellectually inconsistent to say that they have ceased to be MPs, but at the same time still say that until final determination from the Constitutional Court. The problem is that it is not courts who elect our MPs. It is the preserve of the people of Zambia until final determination from the Constitutional Court. So, between the final determination from the Constitutional Court and the people's decision in an election, it is the people's decision in an election that stands until a final determination from the Constitutional Court. But some of my friends are saying, no, as long as the High Court pronounces on this thing and nullifies a seat, it's over for those MPs. I find that to be extremely problematic. I find that to be extremely inconsistent with both the spirit of the Constitution and common sense. That is extremely problematic. An appeal cannot act as a stay of execution. Let Bowman and friends fight court battles outside Parliament. We should just advocate to give a time frame to Constitutional Court when it comes to handling election petitions. Here is another problem with this kind of thinking. The problem is that if we are going to say that people are going to fight court battles outside of Parliament, that's exactly what should happen. The only problem is that it is the people who sends MPs to the House. It is not courts of law. It is the people. And until a court of law changes, removes a person under the final determination, that person is an MP. That's it. Now, this has nothing to do with whether you like that MP or not. I have told you, I could care less about a Shimpundu helicopter or Shimpundu DNA. They are not my kind of people. I will never endorse them, but they are members of Parliament for Kabushi and Gwacha. They are MPs. Until the Constitutional Court pronounces a final determination on these gentlemen, they must be in Parliament. If we begin subjecting parliamentary seats based on our feelings and not based on what the people have elected, we are going to create a huge problem for our democracy. Very huge problem. Then the other thing is they're saying that one single determination by the High Court is enough. It can never be enough. A single judge of the High Court being enough to overturn an election and send the matter back to the people, that is way too much. I'm sorry. I'm not going to support that.
Munshya, I just have a comment, which is similar to another comment on the chat. Munshya, since elections are a very important event, which is also, there's an article.
Let me just address this because I'm getting concerned about Ethiopia. These people are saying the speaker was on point as per the Constitution. Let me tell you, the speaker is wrong on the Constitution, Eugene Ngoza. The Constitution, the speaker of the National Assembly does not elect MPs for the people of Zambia, immediately the speaker begins interfering with the way people elect their MPs. She has done something that is outside the constitution of this country, and we cannot allow it. This idea that the speaker was on point as per the constitution, if we use common sense. I use common sense as a backup. What she did is unconstitutional, first of all, unconstitutional. No two ways about it. It's completely unconstitutional. The speaker does not elect our MPs. The speaker does not give us MPs. The speaker is the chair of the legislature and is elected by the MPs. She does not elect MPs for the people of Kabushi or the people of Kwacha or the people of Chiwempala. She does not do that. She has no authority to do that. If she is called upon to interpret the constitution of Zambia, pardon me, if she's called upon to interpret the constitution of Zambia, she needs to interpret it in a democratic manner, in a way that it affirms our democratic credentials. Sorry.
Yeah, so the point Munshya was trying to drive home is, yes, the people of those 9 constituencies have been defranchised, and they've got the right, constitutional rights, to be represented in parliament every time. But the point Munshya was trying to it might be a question to you, Munshya, and it borders on constitutional reforms also. Munshya, if elections are so important, and you know that if there's a petition on the president, it has to be heard within, is it 2-3 weeks? Why wasn't there a provision? Because this is so important, because the Constitutional Court, Munshya, will take years and years, and the people of Kabushi and Kwacha and everywhere, they will suffer. So why didn't we have a similar court? We've got a court now for white-collar criminals, a separate court. So why wasn't the petition of the president extended to the petition of members of parliament so that they are heard as quickly as possible? Don't you think this is one of the things we need to deal with in our new constitution, or the constitutional reform?
I agree that we need constitutional reform, but we do have a very live issue here. That's why, how do democracies flourish? Democracies flourish not because there's certainty everywhere. England itself does not have a written constitution. The United Kingdom does not have a written constitution. It has a constitution, but it's unwritten. Americans themselves, they've got a very poorly written constitution. For those that need to know, America has spent the past centuries interpreting and reinterpreting a very poorly written constitution. Very short, very brief. Constitutionalism does not just arise out of the text of the document. It also arises out of the spirit of the Constitution. If you are speaker and you are called upon to make a ruling that touches on constitutionalism, you've got to lean not towards punishment, but you've got to lean towards democracy. And that is what it is. If you are asked to make a choice between whether to keep unelected MPs in the House or to kick them out, you lean towards keeping them in the House, because that is the core of our democracy, direct representation of our constituencies. Until a court rules otherwise. Now, you cannot say that because the High Court has ruled this way, therefore I'm not going to seat these people because they'll be drawing allowances. Zambian democracy is not about allowances. For goodness sake, let us stop that kind of thinking. Allowances, how much allowances will Bowman Lusambo get if he sits for a month or 2 or 3 or a year? Are those allowances worth betraying Zambian democracy for? Okay, what happens if the High Court says that is nullified? So we are worrying about how much money he has been paid in allowances from the House. And we are willing to betray fundamental tenets of our democracy because of that. I find that disagreeable. I wouldn't agree to that. I'm sorry. And again, this has nothing to do with whether I like Bowman or not. I don't like Bowman. We've been very categorical and clear about this. I don't like the Patriotic Front. If anything, what I would like to see as far as the Patriotic Front is concerned is the entire party. Ero nomba file finyoto ke fisa musende ngungulu fia senda pate noko ifitwala kumarabo. Completely forget about the Patriotic Front. That is me. But if some of the people elected Patriotic Front MPs, then those are MPs that were elected until the Constitutional Court rules. Until the Constitutional Court rules against these Kelenkas. If we begin picking and choosing a speaker, picking and choosing who is going to sit in the House, we are in trouble. On the basis of a single High Court judge's decision.
It's hard to say because you lawyers are very complicated because we don't know, because us, we are not lawyers. We don't know which side you lean on. We don't know which is right and wrong. We just know that one is saying they're following the Constitution, then the Constitution have to be followed in a particular way. Isn't it possible for that Constitution to just be clear and straightforward, that it doesn't need emotion or anything? You just sit there in a straightforward way. Because otherwise it means everybody's at the mercy of whoever you find on that day.
No. Dr. Barbara Chanda, this is not a complicated matter. Okay? Let me try to tone it down. The only uwafia febulipwapa wakwebati ba speaker balandira okwebati ayamba MPs abalushire petition mu High Court tabafuire bayikala mu nganda. Eka wafia kalipwapa chibe nabachita appeal ku Constitutional Court.
Number kwali ba time frame yakutati bakachita appeal kufika hapana hapa, or how does it work once they appeal? And then kwali bana kuna 6 months yakuwa of MPA. How does it work?
The Constitutional Court can take as long as it wants. The Constitutional Court is not limited by time when it is hearing an appeal.
Okay.
It can take a year, it can take 2 years, it can take 3 years. In fact, Yonse Ama petitions from the last election, some of them, the Constitutional Court was making a ruling in the 5th year, 4th and 5th years.
And then if some are mentioning Kesi Abakambwili, what was the Kesi Abakambwili compared to this one?
Ibama Tibini. And it's exactly the same thing. The Constitutional Court rebuked the Speaker. The Constitutional Court told the Speaker that he could not have declared the seat in Luansha vacant for similar reasons. Niba Speaker Baishirela that for these reasons, Nasango Kobati Kambwili has resigned, Kajungana has resigned from the party, and I'm declaring the seat vacant. The Constitutional Court, in the Kambwili case, told the Speaker off. Patrick Mativini. No, if former lawyers, we don't make good speakers, but we don't want to stay in our lane. To speaker and you are a lawyer, Nishnoba, you are the judge. You are not a judge, you are a Speaker of Parliament. You've got the judiciary. Give deference to the judges. Sometimes I favor teaching about doctor, then we about better speakers. Pantu wafia former lawyers, then be to wafirwa. Pantu waikara pari speaker chair wa mwanakwati nuwego judge. The same thing happened with Patrick Mativini. Constitutional Court told him, you were outside your lane when you declared Chishimba Kambwili's seat vacant. You shouldn't have done that. Nifwe, as judges, nifwe tupingula. Nifwe tupingula. Imwe, you make laws. Elo ifwe as judges, nifwe tu asitashani tuwapingula. we judge. Imwe as lawmakers, you make the law. That was the correct decision from the Constitution Court.
Munshya, kuno ku UK nda following asana nga balepanga ma judgment ama judges kuno. There are two things that they look at. They look at the letter of the law and also the spirit of the law. So, in terms of this Munshya, what did the speaker use? Was it the letter of the law or the spirit of the law? And if I have to know Munshya, what was the intention?
That's too complicated.
Of somebody who was enacting that law, the speaker used. What was the spirit of the law? What's the spirit of the law in this matter?
No, the spirit of the law is that MPs that are elected by the people should sit in our parliament.
And that's what the speaker should have used.
Yes. Until final determination that they don't qualify as MPs. That's it. The speaker said, okay, because the constitution, constitution sometimes the language in Philipsana, LOE in the constitution talk about, yeah, but disjointed. But if you watch today, parliament, you see, chi document chaisa, elo nomba basa sunako. So kachukwata ma sections yako ati disjointed. Mulera story. Let's take a constitution part in story. Elo bafunya hapo 2 paragraphs. So tafile panga sense. If you pamulu ne filipanshi, tafile mfwana gweno. Because bali sunako, nishbale panga bena lungu. Abantu bachita draft, ero nomba bena lungu baya mukufunya moto tumoto. So nomba kanshi constitution yasu yali bako disjointed in several facets. So number, if you are the speaker, wasanga constitution it disjointed. You don't lean towards excluding democracy. You lean towards including it. That is my concern. You lean towards inclusion and respecting the will of the people until a court. Somebody is asking me about doesn't the petitioner have rights? No, but you are a petitioner. Your right is to petition. So you as a petitioner, your right is not to go back and sit in parliament. That is not your role, because that seat has already been declared. A winner has already been declared. And until a court determines Okoba to Yumuntu is not suitable, you are a petitioner. That is just the way it is. If we say that number, ama speakers, ever kalachta choose, pick and choose, we are not going to have democracy. We are not going to have democracy. Ni Ishmailo, when any party is in opposition, could corrupt a few judges here and there, and you declare all the 30 seats vacant, and you exclude 30 people. Some of which seats might be okay, so much they exclude, and you say that it's business as usual, and you move on. How? Akaka what constitutional court yakitako scrutinize kalibako, it's a very important safeguard to check a determination ya High Court. It's a very important safeguard that we must not ignore. Number ngamalanda ti ya safeguard ya constitutional court to ifinyapo to ascend the High Court alone, that is going to be a problem. Because knowing the power of presidents could still prevail over several judges, wasonto sonto to judge to Norway. Election petition yaisa, you just send these cases to your judges, no kubeba obushiku atimwe therefore muchite nalify bachita nalify elo mwachita follow in a decision yaba speaker. It means then that 30 seats, as many as 30 seats out of 156 members of parliament, they remain in limbo for years. When I'm saying this, it's not because therefore of your kushupa. However, echondela and therefore of your to be fair. Okuchindika democracy. I don't know if we Kuba KF Bantu limo to moneka kona kanimo they are favorable to you. Kanch to giba. Mama to giba. Thing. So Kuba fe careful, and about. Okay, over. We stop this. But Jerome Baresh pulapantu Elias Diabo to Achiriviga class. But Jerome, something has happened with ZAMSA.
Yeah, Munshya. So hapa nafana kupoka kupemisha na chimi butuke ke satana nkani. Anyway,
ZAMSA, what has happened?
ndyashira mumakotiro mfuisha bwino turalikonka but abantu balembe fyati ndeshipula kuna kafe kwena kuna kafe kwena ndi ma exam bamusha ma exam yandi napandele mbageni maero pale 2030 ninkwata exam so tusha kupa nono waberenga ko fili afine so echilerenga. Yes, we have issues. We have two things that have happened at ZAMSA. We have a good news in terms of that what we advocated for in terms of change of management has happened. In terms of the entire management has been suspended or have been put on forced leave so that the investigation are done. But you see, the investigation in the pharmaceutical matters are something that are not easy to find if you don't know the direction where they started from. And these are matters where you take people to court, you start investigating, you end up having a lot of years, you haven't found anything. And this is not the first time. I wish the board which are put today also read through what happened some time back. We had issues of global fund concerning ARVs. Yeah. And people were suspended and some people were fired. When they did the investigations, they started investigations and up to today, those investigations are still ongoing. Where now the people were suspended, they ended up started suing ZAMSA because of the way things are done. Then to put those people on forced leave again, there's an issue of redundancy at ZAMSA. When we are moving from medical stores to ZAMSA, there's an issue of those people are working to medical stores to lose their jobs and be given their retirement package as a full. Then again, they advertise the positions and be employed. Now what happened was those people, they were just moved from medical stores to ZAMSA by Jonas Chanda without talking about their package. And their matter is in court. Then today comes another matter. So you need to understand very, very well what is pertaining at ZAMSA. Then you make that decision, or else you find that you are adding to another legal battle that will result between ZAMSA, the government, and the employees that are at ZAMSA. And I'm foreseeing that legal battle happening very well. We had at ZAMSA there, we had the issue of the acting directors there who were there. And if you read very well, the board is in they are the one who supersede the learning of the executive. But I don't think so if they have the mandate to fire permanent workers, because they are also permanent workers at ZAMSA are not on contract basis. So that's one thing that we need to know very well. So when you see the minister categorically mentioned to say ZAMSA does issues of procuring the drugs, storage of the drugs, to members of the public and distribution. But there is also a business point of view from ZAMSA. You see, as by the law now, mandate ZAMSA, it has been mandated to manufacture the medicines, and it has also been mandated to act as a wholesaler to sell. ZAMSA can sell now to private companies or private pharmacies for them to gain something. So you need the people who are confident with what the law speaks about ZAMSA and what it does. So today the board was formulated, and I think from the names that I've seen there, the board was done in a very quick and the shortest period of time without doing proper due diligence with some of the people, because
Now,
I think some people have some serious integrity issues on that board. So that's why I brought a lot of issues. Then after that, myself, when they said the board, actually, like you mentioned, I was actually on the media. I think so. I was with Diamond TV. I had to mention it, and I didn't hide to say I'm not happy with the decision of the board by them appointing Professor Peter Mwaba as the interim CEO of ZAMSA. I'm not saying Professor Peter Mwaba is not intelligent. He's a very intelligent person, very intelligent. Is a medical doctor, and he has a master's in internal medicine, and he is a professor for that matter. So is very much intelligence in his medical field, but is not intelligent in the pharmaceutical field, as he has no background. And what is needed currently at ZAMSA, it is the issue of someone who has a proper background in the pharmaceutical sector. For example, the minister mentioned to say, we need to investigate what happened at ZAMSA to have the NB medication being put or being circulated. The minister forgot to ask one question. Who was the director by then? You find that we had an economist, and this director was on leave, and he left a lawyer, as a director. And this lawyer, without understanding now, they authorize things to go in circulation. And you see, the pharmaceutical industry, currently Zambia is having a huge chunk share of fake medications, including in public institutions. What I mean, including public institutions have all the machinery with them. Now, currently, as a country, we have 85% of the fake medication being in circulation. Why? Because the way we run the pharmaceutical sector, we push away the people supposed to run the sector and bring every Jim and Jack to say that it is no abaniba Dr. Munshya, no bari shibikwa, no ba Dr. Munshya, yon kabien pazamsa. No, that's not the way it's supposed to be done. And I think that's what is happening. You see, it's a name. No, abaniba Dr. Babla, niba Dr. bari shibikwa kubantu, niba mkalaba itamit. No, that's not the way we do with issues of drugs. These are poisons that once you consume, they start killing you slowly. And the pharmaceutical industry is very sophisticated. No wonder we have counterfeit medicine. No wonder we have fake medicine moving around, but someone cannot know. I can make a medicine that if I give you Bamunshayu, you say, this is the medicine. But I'll tell you to say, you get shocked. You see, this is what is there in the pharmaceutical industry. No wonder we are saying, look, we also need someone who understands the issues of supply chain properly. Professor Mwaba is not that competent in the supply chain matter. And currently, we are talking of shortages of medication. And all these are centered on supply chain. So, I was wondering to say, look, on the board there is Pharmaceutical Society of Zambia. What is their role for them to see that this board has chosen someone with no background in the pharmaceutical sector to be the director? Well, their members who are pharmacists have been sidelined. So I was wondering to say, what are these guys trying to do? Anyway.
Now, Jerome, would it be fair to say that your bias? Now, I know that healthcare is a little bit complicated, and medical doctors take the lion's share of the recognition. We have a doctor here, Dr. Barbara Chandan. So it shouldn't be controversial to say that they take a lion's share of recognition. In fact, you yourself, Jerome, you've said it several times that there is too much of a dependency on medical doctors in the health field, and you want it to be a little bit diverse.
Yeah, Munshya, that's one of the reasons. You see, we have already 2 permanent secretaries for administration, which is totally about administration, about human resource, who's a medical doctor, and we have another permanent secretary for technical services. These are technical services, who's again a medical doctor. Then you go and get an institution that is specialized in distribution of drugs to give again a medical doctor. I think we are proving to be a joke of a nation ourselves. You see, if the country cannot recognize my profession and myself as a pharmacist and the work I'm doing, I think it's very frustrating. You see, you should understand very well to say, if Jerome Kanika didn't say about ANB, can be frustrated, everyone in Zambia would have taken those ANB medication. But every day I'm pushed back by the way people are doing things because they are not respecting the professionals. Do you know how much money the poor Zambians spent on me to get educated? To make the matter worse, I was educated under free government sponsorship, 100% sponsorship. And the government spent millions of money for me to be educated as a pharmacist so that any matter pertaining the medication, I protect the Zambian people. Now, if anything goes wrong in terms of the issues of drugs, already we have a lot of scandals we have never heard of that have been there. Do you think someone who's not competent enough in the drugs, they are going to sort out those problems? There'll just be a yes, oh, no problem. No, my juniors have been misdirected, I was misguided. That's not the way we don't, that's not what we want.
Dr. Barbara.
Thank you, Munshya. Thank you, Jerome. You know, the issue of medication is very difficult within Zambia, not because of the pharmaceutical or medical side of things, but because there's no process and procedure. Now, historically in our country, in Zambia as a nation, we tend to side with the people that we know for a long time in positions. I'll quote my father used to say, may he so rest in peace. He used to say that to join the political clique, but the minute you join, you can be recycled so many times because then people know you. They have a certain confidence in you. It doesn't matter whether a government changes.
Is that what you are telling Babatrick? Is that the message to Babatrick?
So, Professor Mwaba, I know him very well. He's a very good medical profession, but you have to remember that he was once a permanent secretary in the Ministry of Health. He's once worked with the same Minister of Health now. So people always work with the people that they know or they have confidence with. So it's for the ministry to find what works and the process, because the bottom line of Honeybee is not even about education. I can tell my son that this box of medication is toxic to people, is supposed to be destroyed and it should not be sent. If within 2 weeks that medication is sent to another hospital, that has got nothing to do with who's got a PhD or profession. It's just poor management and nothing else, because even a grade 2 can do it. If you give me this bottle of water, Barbara, is toxic, it needs to go and be destroyed in the bin, and then this week you find I've passed it to the next house, that has got nothing to do with education. That is just immoral behavior and corruption. Somebody's probably been given the money to buy medication to go to that hospital. They come into the storeroom, they find out, so use the other money for other things. So it's not about who got a degree or anything.
Let me not cut you. Let me just before you use your thought. I think that the thing that we need to understand, what you have said about the issues of the ANB and the drugs which are distributed, is the thinking of everyone. No, that's not the way it is. The issue of those drugs that were not that were distributed, it was the matter of failure to lead what the Medicine and Drug Substance Act talks about when something is recalled. So itself there, it's not about anyone can do it. No, it's about someone to really understand what the law concerning governing of drugs is all about. One thing I've seen in Zambia, we are very poor in understanding the laws that governs the issues of drugs, and also the issues those that governs us, the health workers. We have a problem in such kind of a thing. So for me, I still feel like you have mentioned, Professor Mwaba is a good guy, is a very brilliant person, but we don't want to dig on his other scandals he did when he was the permanent secretary for health concerning drugs. I think I don't want to go that route. So it is, again, I'm failing to understand how he has come back to learn ZAMSA. Has he come to finish what he left when he was the permanent secretary? Those are some of my queries, because I have a thing, a doja I can share with the people of Zambia to say this happened when Professor Mwaba was the permanent secretary at Ndeke House. Today we are talking of the issues of the ARVs and the drugs going to Zimbabwe. What happened? Who was the permanent secretary there? So all these things are supposed, we need to look into all those things before we appoint somebody.
So what you're saying is that the board has appointed the wrong person, not only wrong in terms of profession, not only wrong in terms of expertise, but wrong in terms of issues of integrity. Is that what you're saying, Mr.
Definitely, that's my stance. That's what I've said. You see, I think
when was Mwaba PS at Ministry of Health?
He was for a long time, through the time of, I think, even the current minister as well.
Yeah, up to it should be up to 20. Is it 2008 somewhere there? Yes.
Yeah.
So
when Honorable Masebo was Minister of Health.
Yeah.
Yeah, she worked with him for some time. She was the minister for a short period of time. Then she left. Then he was put there as a minister. So there are a lot of things that we need to speak. And you see, we should not be going to be recycling the same people. When is a young Jerome Kanika going to learn an institution like ZAMSA? You see, we should be aiming at empowering the young people to be. No, you see, no, I'm just trying to say the old school is time for them to leave the groves to the young school, you see, and them to keep watching so that the new technological terminologies that are coming in the aids of the young generation. But if we continue recycling in the name of, I worked with this person 20 years ago, 30 years ago, then I can assure you it is the same as we are not moving forward, we are moving backwards. We have sophisticated fields right now. We have sophisticated where things are done, and we need people who are highly professional and high integrity to do things accordingly. We are in a mess as a country in terms of pharmaceutical sector, so we cannot be at any time be recycling people who have gone into retirement. I think that's something unacceptable. And to say we have a lot of other pharmacists who can do that job. I think for me there, I'm not happy. Coming to the issue of the board, we are now seeing ourselves as jokers in for God's sake. The entire board has only one pharmacist, and the remaining people are non-medical personnel. Apart from one doctor, Dr. Makupe, the remaining know nothing about issues of drugs. How do you make such kind of a board, including the board chairperson, who's an auditor for that matter? So as much as, yes, Annie Chifunguro, it's a big name. We need to leave the big name to be the big name, not to bring a big name to come and get dirty. And I can assure you, it will be in a short period of time, you hear very soon, I'll come here and say, the board has messed up here. they have messed up here, they have messed up here, because they don't have that technical know-how on how drugs are being done. Just like the way I came here to say ZAMSA has messed up. ZAMSA has messed up on the contract for supply of drugs. No wonder we have shortages of drugs. No one realized that, including the pharmacists. They didn't know that ZAMSA has messed up. Until this time, that's when they have come to agree to say, yes, ZAMSA has messed up and Jeremy was right. You see, all those things are the things that are making us failing to move forward. And if we stand up and be crapping for everything, because some of us, we are in the health committee of UPND, or we support the UPND, I think we will be misreading our party, and very soon we'll be kicked out of power, because people will be saying, since UPND came into office, there have never been drugs in the hospitals because of the people we are appointing. I leave here.
All right, so the
So,
board was
just
appointed today, and the board today decided to appoint, to force leave for the directors, for the management, and then appoint a new acting director.
who is the appointing body for ZAMSA before we go on? Who appoints the board? Who recommends them?
Some of the board members are statutory in the sense that it's the law that gives the ZAMSA those board members, but they're ultimately appointed by the Minister of Health.
Okay, all right. It's something that they have to work on, because honestly speaking, medication, the reason it sounds so complicated in Zambia, the reason it sounds so out of this world is because the Ministry of Health in Zambia is a cash cow. It is where everybody goes to become wealthy. And that's why there are so many loops going around head and wire, like it's so complicated. It's not supposed to be complicated. All these things are supposed to be straightforward. The pharmacists, we're in the hospitals, we work with pharmacists. You give a drug, a pharmacist will come around, check it. It's supposed to be a teamwork. If if you look at a fluid, if it's expired, you just sign it off and say this is expired. Somebody comes and picks it up. There's no complicated tables that people are supposed to read. It's just there. It just says, oh, expires on the 15th of February 2022. You put it in another book, somebody picks it up, they take it because it's expired. It shouldn't be so complicated. It shouldn't be something that goes to the ends of the world. The reason it's complicated, wherever in Zambia something is complicated, you can't do this, you go around in circles, bring this paper, bring that paper, is because of corruption. That's what I think I submit.
All right. We've got to change it up here. President Hakainde Hichilema leaves Zambia tomorrow. I think it's tomorrow or Thursday. He leaves for Brussels, where the EU is. There is an EU-Africa summit going on. And then he's going to see Oscar Pombo in Rome, Italy. So Pombo is extremely happy that he's going to meet Zambia's leader, the man you campaigned for. Aren't you excited?
We are absolutely excited. We are excited about Munshya.
Okay. Is there Bachimpempe on our panel here?
I don't know.
The
Patrick is Pentecostal, Italian, Catholic, definitely.
To balance up things, we need Bachimpempe. I think to balance up things, so I won't say much, but to balance up things, we need Bachimpempe. So we need, do we have any Chimpempe panelists here on TVBAKWETU? This is not fair. Do we? No.
I think we do. I just can't remember who it is.
So I need to make this special announcement to cover it, not to show the Chimpempe panel. So if you are Chimpempe and you want to join TVBAKWETU, please get in touch with Dr. Barbara, so that initiate
my brothers in Australia are all Seventh Day. I'll drag them on. It will be interesting.
Now, my PhD and I need to let our viewers know, is in political theology. So political theology basically deals with the interaction of the state and the church. So religion and politics, basically. And one of the things that we study are the trends of, in the Zambian government, for example, you have a Seventh-day Adventist president. And then you study the theology of Adventists, what they teach, and how that might inform the new president's governance. That's very important. So that's my field. That's my field, political theology. So Adventists, now some of these things but Adventists believe, it's a very central theme of Adventism, that the state colluded with the Church of Rome to interfere with the fourth, you shall honor the Sabbath and the Chanchan Yoko. It's a commandment number.
Constantine.
Yeah.
So it's a fundamental doctrine in Adventism, in Chimpempe theology, that the state and the Catholics colluded.
Yes.
And changed the Sabbath. And so there is this cosmic war that exists between Adventist theology and the kingdom of Rome.
Yes.
That's why you see it in books, you see it in the prophecies of Ellen G. White, you see it in Adventist theology. And so it is very interesting to see our Adventist president going to meet the Pope. That is going to be quite an interesting thing.
Munshya, it's fantastic. I'm telling you, it's quite a good news. It's a very, very, very good news, which has been accepted by our brothers and sisters here in Italy. They would love to see. We are still waiting. We are still waiting for the indications and of what the whole thing is going to be taken to be organized. You know that I suppose this visit to Italy came in the second position. So after the visit of in the European Union, so we are absolutely proud. We are proud. We are thankful to.
That's your time. That's your time to shine. And I think President Agaide Ichilema will enjoy himself in Rome. Some people are saying that he's traveling a lot.
We are going to take to tell the president. We are from the BAKWETU team.
You're going to tell the president that I'm Don Oscar Pombo from TVBAKWETU.
From TVBAKWETU, yes.
We're extremely proud of all these trips that the president is making. They are cementing the role of our country in the international stage. EU-Africa relations are very important, and we are very happy that he's making this trip. That's the word. Quite well take a chalo, but Tawaya EU, Tawaya Kumuna African Union, no, Nakuyu enter we are Nishutu take a shani channel. We are very happy because this is to the benefit of our country, and we know that we trust our leader that he is.
Vamunsha kuluisha kwena tulefafyo kuluisha kwati na papa wesu na papa wine akesesa ku Sadik because tatala tandadira kwefyalo fya ku Sadik vamunsha tafoturelusha emkwaye
Francesco tabatandarira po
awe tawaisa ku Sadik tawaisa ko so ndrefu kulando ko wata mkwai ushikwena kuti muliranda finga mwa afa ku Egypt nishi mwa sansabuka mwa ku Tunisia nishi mwa sansamwa naomba fwewe na ngumbo telefo kulanda yawe ise ni kuno kuba ku Congo aba ku Zambia naba ku Tanzania naba South Africa beno Kabien when
I think so. Don Oscar, what you are saying is that you want President Hakainde Hichilema to invite Pope Francesco, Papa Francesco, Papa
Francesco masculine.
Okay, so Papa Francesco to come and visit Zambia. Elo, when Papa Francesco visits Zambia, he should come to Chiwempala.
Chiwempala kesa tukamsanga tukamsenda mutumanda tuwa mu compound wamu ishanati Papa Kabien.
So just a correction, but Don Oscar, there is a correction here from Conrad that Papa Francesco visited Mozambique in 2020.
All right. Okay. That's a surprise.
Okay, so that does not stop him though from visiting Chiwempala. He's welcome. And
right.
Chingola TV choirs are going to sing for him.
This time takaye kuchingola. This time waka kuwe na ngombo. Kulapula. Kuwe na ngombo. Fwe wanyela pemenshi.
Imwe Vapombo.
You know, we've gone international, Vampombo. Mwalanda bwino ndaba patiri.
Vatanda Chilovia. Amutishani, kurishani ku Canada.
Kwa kuripe bwino. Lelo weather iliko bwino. Despite a couple of weeks ago, walikuwa ka storm, ka winter storm. So a little ice or snow is melting, but otherwise everything is okay and great. Yeah.
I'm quiet. But Patrick Chilofia, your concluding remarks.
Munshya, pa pite fintu thing sana. Pia va Jerome na balubapa. I think the issue of Munshya, who should head ZAMSA, is a topic of another day. But from what Jerome was saying is that it's not just about the capability or competence of Dr. Mwava, it's about integrity. So I think that's a topic of another day. Yeah. All right. And then on the issue of Akateka going to the European Union, obviously representing African Union, that's a good one. Obviously it's going to market our country there in Belgium, Brussels. Yeah, and meeting the Pope, I think that's a good one. I think to me, meeting the Pope is even more important than going to the European Union. I rest my case, Vamush. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. So we've got to end here at 1 hour 32 minutes. This has been a presentation of TVBAKWETU. Elias Munshya here with our friends from the TVBAKWETU family. Good night. God bless you, and we'll see you tomorrow. God bless you, and God bless our country. Thank you.